This is the second of two videos. The first one was translators, how to use them successfully. And this is a continuation, and it's how to write in a foreign or second language with writing assignments. So how do you figure out what to write? In the first video, I talked about the downfalls of translators. Make your sentences as short and precise as possible, avoiding idiomatic phrases and slang. If you do not do this, you will inevitably mess up. Use what you know from your textbook. Think back on what you're learning in class and your textbook. Start simple. Your assignment is always going to have something to do with what you are learning. So if you find you do not have the vocabulary or verb tenses, bag it and start over. Start with simple sentences and write your whole assignment. Then go back and add prepositional phrases, adverbs, adjectives, etc. One way to use a translator is when proofing. If you're not sure about a word, use a dictionary or a translator. Be sure you use only what you are learning. Word Reference is a pretty good dictionary, but no dictionary is foolproof. A good dictionary gives you several meanings, tells you what part of speech you are looking at, and gives examples. If a dictionary comes up with a word, but gives you other options or synonyms, look to see which are the words in your textbook. Check the vocabulary list in your chapter or in the back of your textbook. Check your verb tenses with a translator or conjugator. Many books have tables at the back that will tell you all the different conjugations. There are conjugators online as well. If you have a tense that you have not learned yet, change it to a tense you do know, or you may have to bag the whole sentence. This happens a lot. Remember, there are some phrases that are expressed completely differently in another language than your own. These you will have to learn, and generally your textbook will introduce them at the beginning of a foreign language. These types of phrases are where a translator can or may come in handy if, and this is a really big if, the translator knows the phrase. Most do not, so use your textbook. The best way to start writing in a foreign or second language the best way is to start writing in the foreign or second language. When writing, stick to basic sentences at first. Make sure you have a subject and a verb. Then after the skeleton is written, go back and add adverbial phrases like in the morning, at 9 o'clock, on Monday, on the weekend, and if you know the past tense, phrases like last night, on my last vacation, etc. Remember, if you're using a language with dative and accusative phrases, make sure that your endings are correct. Add prepositional phrases to the store, from my house, inside the house, outside of school, and add these to your existing sentences. Make sure you're using vocabulary and tenses from your textbook. Check often. Use your text. Add adverbs quickly, slowly, etc., and integrate these into your sentences. When writing, there is no way to get around using your text, but with your text, a good dictionary or translator, and a conjugator, you should be able to write grammatically correct and at the level you are learning with vocabulary from your text. If your first language is English, be sure you are conjugating your verbs correctly. We are so used to our easy verbs in English that we forget that for other languages, the verb changes according to the subject of the sentence as well as the tense. Do not write with idiomatic phrases. How do you say it in your language the most clear and precise manner with the least amount of words? That will help you to translate what you want to say. Generally, it is easier to write in the foreign language and then add information, but sometimes you do not know where to start. Start with a subject and a verb. If you are in a beginning foreign language class, you will not be expected to write like you do in English right away. This takes time. So you do not believe me? If you decide that I have no idea what I'm talking about and want to write in your language and then translate, divide your sentence into grammatical parts. The large, cumbersome woman lumbered to the bus stop with her various packages filled with goodies for her grandchildren. So you come up with this great sentence. The large, cumbersome woman, the whole subject, which is a phrase that includes the main noun woman, two adjectives, large, cumbersome, and a definite article, the. You need to think about what order these words go in the target language. Do they have to agree? Are there genders for nouns, adjectives, and definite articles? Do they differ if they are singular or plural? You'll have to think about the target language and change it from your language to another that has completely different rules. Now for the next part, the verb, lumbered. You have to figure out the subject. You just did that. The tense, in this case, it is past. But the target language may have more than one past tense and rules about using these tenses. You will have to decide all of this before deciding on the conjugation and tense of the verb. Next, we have to the bus stop, which is a prepositional phrase. It shows location. Depending on the language, some prepositions may be accusative or dative, or they may have more than one part to them. Maybe the verb before this preposition calls for a special preposition that is nothing like the preposition we use in English. Then we have another prepositional phrase. You can see that this gets very tedious and confusing. A translator will have the same issues you do, and that is why it is so hard to get a translator to work correctly. Trust me, it is much easier to start in the foreign or second language and start at kindergarten level and then add information. You will remember the rules as you are writing much more than trying to translate from a high level of English to a beginner level of the foreign language. In conclusion, translators are flawed tools right now. Using a good dictionary will help the most if you use the vocabulary from your text. You can use a translator to give you an idea or for idiomatic phrases in the foreign language, but I wouldn't trust it. Read carefully what the translator says. Are the words ones you use in class? Are the tenses the ones you have learned? Are there words still in your native tongue? And finally, the biggest flaw for translators is human error. If you type something wrong, a typo, or you write something that is not grammatically correct in your own language, the translator is at a loss. It cannot correct what you have written and translates it just as it is. This is a big giveaway to instructors that you are using a translator. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully writing in a foreign or second language is not so daunting as it was before. Do not just plug in your whole written assignment into a translator and then copy paste it onto your document. You will end up with a 0 or end up having to redo it unless you have an instructor that does not even read what you write. Good luck and let me know if this helped you.